Hello, my name is Amber Hernandez, and I will be discussing the process of creating my genogram. So, when I first started, I was having some trouble with moving the shapes and trying to get the lines straight. Yeah, it was just tedious. It was difficult to navigate, but I managed to figure it out. So, while creating my genogram, I asked my mom and dad for more information about their siblings, which are my aunts and uncles. So my mom had three sisters and one brother. So they were a family of seven with my grandma and grandpa. My dad's side has two brothers, two sisters, so they were a family of seven. My aunts and uncles from my mom's side has a total of 10 kids, which are my cousins. On my dad's side, my aunts and uncles have 12 kids, including my dad, which is me and my brother. Hispanic families are usually big, so I decided not to add my cousins because then I would have to add 22 more shapes in total, and I feel like that would just take up too much space, and it's just a whole nother story adding them as well. But yeah, out of all the cousins, I am the oldest, and I wanted to focus more on my parents and their siblings as well as my grandma and grandpa from both sides. Starting with myself, I am 27 years old and I have a little brother that is 6. Most people are shocked when they find out that me and my brother have a huge age gap. For the first 2 decades of my life, I was the only child, so just me, my mom, my dad. So, and then my family would assume that I was spoiled or I got whatever I wanted, which that may be partially true, but no, like it was very lonely at times. Other than my friends at school, my cousins and aunt were the closest to me of a sibling. My aunt is my mom's youngest sister, so we are 6 months apart, so pretty much grew up together. So yeah, we were about around the same age, so she's also 27. My grandma on my mom's side had my aunt in her 40s. So, very much how my mom had my little brother late as well. When I was 21 and in my third year of college, my mom found out she was pregnant. So, and to this day, it's still a shock that I even have a sibling. Part of me still feels like I'm the only child, which is funny. My parents weren't trying, by the way, only because my doctors told my mom she couldn't have kids. After I was born, my mom got sick, and after that, my parents weren't expecting to have more kids. However, that all changed, and now I have a brother that is very loud, asks a lot of questions too, but he definitely keeps me on my toes. So, along with myself and my brother, I also added a diamond on my genogram since I do have one dog as a pet. She is part of the family, of course, so yeah. I will now be going more in depth into the health and psychological issues in the family. Again, starting with myself, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety in high school. Um, just really bad time back then, and still sort of going through that now. And I do plan to go see a therapist just because it's still kind of ongoing and I never really got it treated or anything. So definitely going to go to a therapist pretty soon. My parents have not seen a therapist, but I do suspect my mom has mild to moderate anxiety just because she constantly worries and overthinks everything, which I'm sure all moms do, right? But she's over the top. Like she catastrophizes everything, like, just thinking the worst and just constant like worrying about, anything and everything, you know. And my dad is an alcoholic and has abused drugs in the past. So, and because of that, it caused a lot of emotional neglect from my dad. So, I didn't get that emotional bond or support from him. Um, like, he was there for me. He took me out to places and he took me to go run errands with him and stuff. So, I mean, he was there physically, but emotionally he wasn't. And I think it was mainly because of the alcohol and drugs. So, yeah, that kind of put a strain in our relationship now too, especially. But he don't do that no more. I mean, he drinks still, but not as bad as it was back then. Um, so yeah, both my parents had me when they were in high school, so it was difficult for them to begin with. And although they had their struggles and arguments, they have gotten better. And I feel that my dad can definitely improve in some areas, but glad my parents aren't arguing a lot like they used to, because they used to argue a lot when I was a kid, but they've gotten better. So going back to my parent siblings, my mom's youngest sister has depression and anxiety. I believe because my grandma, which is her mom, died when my aunt was 3, so she was just a little kid. She also had postpartum depression after having her first child. On my dad's side, my other aunt also had depression and bipolar, mainly because they grew up in a chaotic environment. And um, my dad's sister, she was also diagnosed with lupus. So according to my dad, he did mention that my grandpa was abusive towards his siblings, and my grandma. He was also an alcoholic who was more violent after drinking. As far as my other 2 uncles and other aunt, I am not aware that they have mental or physical health issues. Same thing with my mom's siblings. I asked my mom if my aunts and uncles had any mental health, physical health issues. Nothing that she knows of other than her youngest sister, who has depression and anxiety. My grandma on my dad's side died from cancer 7 years ago, and my grandma from my mom's side died from hepatitis C when I was 3. My grandpas from both sides are still alive today. My grandpa on my dad's side is in El Salvador, living his own life outside the country. My grandpa on my mom's side does have health issues. He has diabetes and high blood pressure. Overall, overall, this genogram was very informative about my family. Of course, my family is bigger when I add my cousins, but that goes beyond my immediate family. And yeah, it's just good to know the types of issues, patterns, and dynamics that my family had. So this assignment was pretty cool.